Hey guys, welcome to your channel, and today we are going to discuss an important topic. It might be included in environmental ecology as well as science and technology. This has sufficient relevance at the context of UPSC exam because these topics bears much more importance at current scenario, and it comes into relevance on the recent context of the India's anti-satellite test. Yes, I'm not going to tell about the satellite test. I'm going to tell about the indirect context which has been brought about by this test. And this indirect is space debris. Yeah, orbital debris. And what is a space debris or orbital debris? Right. Every day, various countries are putting new satellites, putting new spacecraft on the space. Some remains work for some days and some years, and after their term is over, they remain in the space without any work. And these actually, in very simple terms, you can call them space debris. Yeah, space garbage. Whatever we throw unnecessary uh, things in our day-to-day life activities which are not usable, we throw them out. In that way, all the experiments, all the spacecraft, all the satellites which have been put in the space and which were out of work after their term is over, they remain garbage in the space. And this is a very serious matter at present to think over, and these are called space debris. Then what is the role of anti-satellite test to the space debris? Because in anti-satellite test, what happened? An object is done. An object is collided with a satellite, right? Resulting in the breaking down of the particles of that satellite, which actually creates space debris. And NASA condemns India that India's recent anti-satellite test has created more than 400 pieces of space debris. So that's why this context is very much important. In my previous lecture, I have told you that there are two methods of anti-satellite test. One create space debris and another do not create space debris. I am not going to reiterate them. Try to find that out. What are those two methods? You can refer to my earlier video. Right, it is equally important for pre and mains. And one is another important fact here for pre is spacetrack.org. This is a actually US space agency, and it has revealed a set of data which shows that China occupies the topmost position in case of space debris. And till now, before the test of the anti-satellite test done by India few days ago, India has only 80 pieces of space debris. Space debris, right? Very less. But it will not be correct after the anti-satellite test, because after this test, it is claimed that India has created more than space debris. So as per the data revealed by that space.org, you see the search, China occupies the topmost position. You might find this is equally important for pre-exam, and not only for civil services exam, it is equally important for other banks, SSC exam also. China occupies the topmost position, followed by Russia, UK, USA, India, Japan, France, etc. So try to figure out this chart. You can also put it as a relevant information in mains exam if you find any relevant mains question. So we already know that what is space debris, yeah, space garbage. So what are the various kinds of space garbage? Means it might be tiny particles. When a satellite is broken down, yeah, when a foreign object is broken down through an anti-satellite test, the tiny pieces might be turned into space garbage. As well as in case of satellite where it becomes out of function, in that case the entire satellite may be turned into space garbage. So and here one important point from pre points of view is another is that microsat R, because here the microsat R is uh, objected as the aim which has been broken down by the anti-satellite test. So what is microsat R? Right, and in case of India, what India says that it is not creating any space debris, right? Whatever it has broken down throughout anti-satellite test, it will be fallen on the ground after some weeks, and it is only in that is why the test is in low orbiting test, right? It is not in high orbiting test. And here in this case, China has from the recent study, it has been shown that China has used both the methods of anti-satellite test, which create state debris, and it has also improved the technique where the state debris is not created. So what happens whenever what are the various states of state debris? It might fall on the earth, it might conflict with spacecraft. Sometimes it is said that whenever any spacecraft is put on space, spacecraft is sent to the space, then what happens due to the space debris, it might create conflict. And that is why in USA there is actually space surveillance system who, when it observes that there is a thwart of conflicting with space debris, then they change the direction of the spacecraft. Burnt in atmosphere, sometimes it burnt in atmosphere, and sometimes it remain in orbital path. And remain in orbital path, it is very dangerous. The tiny particles of space debris which remain in the orbital path, and you do not believe in what speed they might actually turn around in the space. So till now what we have seen, that we have seen what is space debris, how anti-satellite tests create space debris, what are the various methods of an anti-satellite test, what is spacetrack.org, what are its recent revelation regarding space debris, what is India's position in space debris, who occupies topmost position in space debris, what are the various types of space debris, right? So we have seen that as a whole space debris creates threat to the spacecraft. Experiment on moon, experiment on any project who is experiments on space. That's why there are some observation methods created by NASA. One such observation method is return space shuttle. Here what is done when a space is sent to the a spacecraft is sent to the space, it has been returned, and in normal language we can say that the scratches on the outer body of the spacecraft is actually examined, and from that scratches it is determined that how much space debris, how much conflict it has faced in the space. Another is long duration exposure facility. And I already told you anti-satellite method. There are two methods: fly-by test and jamming. India has actually adopted the jamming method in recent test. And one most important point you might face in pre and mains actually, Kessler effect. If you if you have watched the movie Gravity, then you know, you are very much familiar about the Kessler effect. What is Kessler effect? Each country is putting new satellite, introducing new satellite in space, and one day it might create much more collision between the satellites, and this collision will affect on the asteroid belt of Earth, belt of Earth, and as well as it will not it will create much more hamper in case of spacecraft. Recent experiment on the space, that's why it is called Kessler effect. So coming to the questions, we can find out some questions for pre and mains from the topic. Question number 1. Orbital debris comes into news at the recent context of India's anti-satellite test. Choose the correct statement regarding orbital debris. They are created by anti-satellite test only. Orbital debris are those tiny particles only which left in space. I have not given the options here to sharpen your objectivity, so you find out which option is true. It might be all, none, and give your answer in the comment box. Question number 2. Which of the following is not space debris? Satellite which remain in space after its term is over. Tiny particles of destroyed satellite which remain in orbital path. Question number 3. Kessler effect is believed to be impacted on space experiment asteroid belt. In that way, you can find, prepare notes for mains. What is space debris? Narrate the recent threat posed by space debris to International Space Station. Do you think that an urgent international treaty is needed to control on space debris?